Reacts.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel if you're new here. My name is Matt, and you're watching Matt Modify Reacts. And today we're reacting to the top 12 things to never do in the UK. If you enjoy content like this, be sure to leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you aren't. Let's jump into the video. Shout out to Claire's Footsteps for this amazing survival guide. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Claire and I am from England.
Claire is from England.
I grew up in London, but now I live in southwest England. I've also had family living in the Midlands and I've got friends living in the north of England. So when it comes to English etiquette, I'd say I know what I'm talking about.
I believe Claire, because I probably don't. I probably don't. I probably would easily. I mean, I try my best. I would say I don't intend to offend by any means. So I do my research to not offend cultural things that I maybe don't completely understand as an American. But I don't intentionally go out of my way to be disrespectful culturally or, you know, appropriative or anything like that.
I was watching a few other videos on YouTube about things you shouldn't do in England, and honestly, I don't agree with all of them.
Okay, so it's good to know that she doesn't agree with all of them right out of the gate. A native saying that they don't agree with stereotypes. I appreciate that. That clarity coming from that side definitely means more. So I'm not just ignorant American, you know.
So I thought I'd put together my own list, created by a born and bred English woman.
See, there we go. I like that. I like that. We'll have factual information coming in, if you will,
about all the things that you should never do if you're visiting England. The first thing that you should never do in England is call Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland England. They are different countries in that sense. They are all part of the United Kingdom.
See, that is something I would say, unless you're like a history buff, and again, I don't speak for all Americans by any means, but that's things that we wouldn't know unless we had a reason to know outside of history, I guess. Because before one of our previous videos, I can't say that I would have known the complexities of where, like, you know, what falls into the United Kingdom and what things fall into certain areas and things like that.
But Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland have a very distinctive identity, and they're also governed slightly different as well. So it is very important to not refer to them as England. You could...
Right. Yeah, I could see offending a number of other cultures by just labeling them all England when maybe the relationship isn't, as we know through some of the history we've gone through already in reacting. Maybe the history between these different groups isn't the best, to say the least. So calling everyone English, I could see that striking a nerve with several different people.
Could go a little bit further and even add Cornwall into that. Cornwall is technically a part of England, but it has a very unique Celtic heritage. I live in Devon, which is right next door to Cornwall, and my family are actually Cornish. So this is something that I'm very interested in, but I won't go too much into it in detail now. Next up on the list is don't just visit London. Please, please, please don't just visit London and then think that you've seen England.
I could see a lot of people doing that because London, England, right? You know, that's what everyone knows. But then there's all these other probably great places in England and in the UK that you could, you know, clearly explore. And you miss out on so much when you're kind of focused on, I guess, the tourist-centric cities.
I mean, if you've only got time to visit London on your trip, then that's fine. But just don't think that that is England, because it's very different to the rest of the country. There are so many amazing places that you can visit outside of London. Just to name a few, there's Devon, where I live. There's Cornwall, which has beautiful...
Wow, look how cool that is. Not only are the beaches really neat, but like look how awesome that little island looks. That is so cool.
Beautiful beaches. There's the Dorset coastline as well, which is the Jurassic Coast, which is England's only natural UNESCO World Heritage Site. There is the beautiful city of Bath, there's the Cotswolds, the Lake District, the Peak District, there's other cities like Manchester, Liverpool, Bristol, Leeds. There's so much to do. London's a great city, but there is just a lot more in England.
Look at the crazy architecture in the buildings and everything. That is so cool. Like, such dated architecture, but like they maintain it, so it just looks so neat. It's like, I would guess most of that is probably marble or something,
As well. The next
or maybe like limestone or something.
thing to not do in England, and you should definitely never do this, is to drive on the right. In England, we drive on the left.
Yeah, see that I probably would get confused. I'm not the best person with direction, and not so much directions as in you would, how to do something or how to get somewhere. Just general navigation, not the best. So yeah, I think I I think I would have a little bit of a issue possibly with navigating the roads over there, but
Like Australia, India, New Zealand, Japan, I think, Malta. So there's not many countries that drive on the left, but there are a few. And yeah, basically just make sure you don't drive on the right in England. It's fairly obvious which side of the road you should drive on. But you do always hear of some tourists who rent a car and drive on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you don't know, you don't know, I guess. So yeah, I could see how that's a thing.
So just make sure you remember that one. It's probably the most important. Another thing to never do in England is please don't presume that we all drink 15 cups of tea a day.
I could see that being a stereotype amongst Americans, since they kind of only know the posh representation of people from England and people out of the UK. They just assume everybody from those regions are just heavy tea drinkers, which I'm sure they are to some degree. But I mean, to put that label on everybody is, I don't know how accurate that would be either.
Like, we really don't. I've got friends who never drink tea. I personally have 1 cup every morning. And then sometimes in the winter I'll have another cup.
That's funny she says that, because I do also have a lot of friends that I speak with from the UK. And, again, most people would think that they drink a lot of tea just by the representation, right? The tea and crumpets and the stereotypes. But a lot of people, surprisingly, like she said, she has like 1 a day, and that would be the equivalent of somebody having, a cup of coffee or something. So that's not as unusual, I would say. But expecting them to just profusely drink tea just because they're English or, in the region where it's known to predominantly drink hot tea.
A bit later on in the day, but I drink more coffee than tea, and with my generation you will find more people drinking coffee, at least in my circles. I watched another YouTube video about things not to do in England, and it said never turn down a cup of tea. We're not going to be offended if you turn down a cup of tea.
That's interesting. I mean, I suppose if in the way that you do it, if you're rude, I would think anybody would have a problem with you rudely turning down something, but simply the turn down of, oh, no, thank you, I'm fine, or something like that. I don't see that being something that would be interpreted by, people out of the UK, or specifically, London or regions that would offer you that. I don't know why, I guess it's just one of those things, those stereotypes.
And, there is a stereotype that we drink tons of tea.
I just said that. Wow, thanks. Thanks, Claire.
Every single day, but we really don't drink that much. Some people do, but it's not like, you're not going to be deported if you don't drink a cup of tea, so don't worry if you don't like it.
And if, in the States, predominantly people drink, and I mean, they drink iced tea, I'm sure, all around the country in various places, but most people think it's a Southern thing because, stereotypically it is or started out as a Southern thing. And sweet tea, especially. In the South, the sweeter the better, sometimes too sweet. You don't see sweet tea offered very much outside of Southern states. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent here, but I just thought it was interesting how she said, most people think that everybody drinks tea. It's kind of a similar situation if you are from the Southern states in the U.S.
Money, money, money. The next one is to not ask someone how much they earn. This is also kind of a British stereotype, and this one is kind of true. We don't like to talk about money.
Okay, most people don't like to kind of go into their finances, whether it's just for privacy or whatever. So I mean, I completely understand that being something that people, you wouldn't just walk up to someone you don't know and ask them their finances. I mean, that's kind of rude across the gate in most cultures, I would think.
And I'm not saying that's a good thing, but it is considered a bit of a social faux pas to ask someone how much they earn.
Sure.
There are very few people in my life who I know exactly how much they earn.
I could say the same thing, really. I have friends that are very close to me, but I'm not in their bank accounts. I don't know their financial situations outside of conversational things. And I don't ask them that, that's not something that, and I don't want to say that, sure, I wouldn't be curious, but I respect these people enough to where I don't need to be in their business if they're not telling me.
It's, maybe not a good thing because it's a bit of gatekeeping, and really we should probably be more transparent about this kind of stuff. But yeah, I would recommend not asking anyone how much they earn when you're in the UK. The next one is don't forget a rain jacket. So this is another British stereotype, actually, is that it rains all the time. It doesn't rain all the time, but we do have quite unpredictable weather throughout the whole year, and there's usually at least a few rainy days in a month. Some months seem like mainly rainy days.
Yeah, so I mean, you just prepare, I mean, you probably, when you travel abroad or really anywhere, you should probably prepare for inclement weather coming from anywhere. So I mean, having a weather jacket or a rain jacket or something, probably isn't a bad idea, even if it, maybe is stereotypical. I know they say places like Seattle in the States and stuff commonly rain more often than not. But I'm sure probably if you check that, as sure as they get a lot of rain, there's times where they just don't. Maybe they're overcast and stuff, mostly. But yeah, I could see how that's also a thing. Just, be prepared.
But I'm recording this now and it is gloriously sunny outside. So we definitely have our fair share of sunshine. But because of the changeable weather, I would recommend to not forget a rain jacket. Okay, this is the thing that you never should do in England.
Uh-oh. Okay, so this is a big one. I can tell by Claire's face.
England, never jump queues. We love a queue, and this is a stereotype that is true. We are very good at queuing. We queue orderly, we don't jump, we wait our turn.
Oh, okay, so she's talking about like waiting in lines. Okay.
That is what the British do. I think I can talk for the whole of Britain when I say that. So yeah, while you're here, don't jump queues, don't push in. That's just not how we do it. We stand in line and wait our turn.
Yeah, and I mean, most people should have that mentality. I was going to say most people have that mentality, but no, I'm sure they probably don't. Most people are all about, where they got to go and how they got to get there and how fast they got to get there. Americans, unfortunately, are less patient. I'm sure there's statistics you can find on that they're less patient with waiting. Hurry up and wait. That whole thing.
In a similar vein, don't ever stand on the left on an escalator. So this is a very like London Underground thing. It's to stand on the right. If you want to stand on the escalator, you stand on the right, and then everyone walks up next to you. everyone who wants to walk up the escalator walks up next to you and you stand on the right. And if you want to walk up the escalator, obviously you can walk up on the left.
Yeah, so it's a manners thing again, I mean, it makes sense. It's the equivalent of us having a passing lane when we're driving. It sounds like it's the same thing. If you stay in the left lane and you bog the traffic down instead of moving over left lane to pass, it's kind of like the same thing on the escalator, it sounds like.
But don't stand on the left, because then that blocks people's way who want to walk up.
Yep, same thing I was saying. Yeah, you'll have people who will drive slow in the left lane and obstruct traffic. It's the same thing. It's just, with humans getting past. If you're waiting, you should wait over there on the side. Why are you in the traffic lane, right?
This is a very done thing in London and in other big cities in England. And if you do stand on the left, you'll probably be tapped on the shoulder and someone will be like, excuse me. The next...
Yeah, I mean, if that's the worst that you get, you're still doing pretty good, because you'd probably, get somebody who would shove you out of the way in the States.
thing that you should not do in England is to underestimate driving time. I know we're a small country, and I mean, that's true. You could get from Land's End, which is the bottom of Cornwall, to John O'Groats, which is the top of Scotland, probably in 10 hours if there's...
She said probably in 10 hours. I mean, I know 10 hours in some in some traveling isn't bad, but holy
no traffic.
cow.
But there is always traffic. The driving in England can be so stressful, and traffic is very common. We're a very small island and we have a population of 66 million? Or is it more? It may well be more. I think I looked that up a few years ago. Just don't underestimate what the driving will be like, because even if it looks, even if you're used to driving long distances and you look at the map and it's like, oh, it's only 4 hours, that's fine, it probably will be more. The next
okay, yeah, so plan accordingly when you travel. If it gives you a particular time, there's probably a good chance that time, like she said, is going to be different. Good to know.
Next thing to not do in England is to be confused if someone says, all right. So we say this all the time, and it literally just means hello. You'll see a mate and you'll just say, oh, all right. It doesn't mean, are you all right? It literally just means hello. It's just a greeting.
That's interesting. I say that's interesting a lot. Because it is interesting. I've had people say that, and I can see how the confusion happens when you just see somebody and you say, all right, that's just saying, hey, how you doing? Okay. Yeah, I get that. But if you didn't know that, somebody saying, all right, kind of would make you ask, are they asking me if I'm okay?
Don't really know where it came from. So if someone says, all right to you, you can just say, oh, hey. And that would be very appropriate. The next thing to not do in England is don't worry too much if you don't understand our accent. I used to have a really strong Cockney accent when I lived in London. It still is a little bit, but since I've lived in the southwest for quite a while now, it has diluted. But we have very strong regional accents, and I mean, when I went to university, my accent was so strong that the people at university couldn't understand me, and they were from a 2-hour drive away from...
I feel like the accents aren't difficult. I think that we're just not used to... If it's an accent we're not used to hearing, we don't listen maybe as well. And I say that firsthand for myself. When we were doing the 30 dialects reaction video, there were many accents that when I went back and watched it, I didn't realize that I just wasn't really listening as well as I could have been. But once I realized I was listening not as efficiently and I went back and listened, you can understand people pretty well. I mean, sure, the thick accents do make things, and dialects do make things a little bit more complicated, but just take the extra time, do the due diligence, and just listen to people. I mean, they're taking the time to speak to you. you just take the time to listen to them.
Sometimes we can't even understand each other, so don't worry too much if you can't understand all the accents. Most people will be happy to talk again, talk slower, or try and neutralise their accent a little bit. The last thing to not do in England is please don't presume we're all unfriendly. This is another stereotype which I really dislike. To be honest, it is more of a London stereotype, but London's just typical of any big city. Like, it's the same in Paris, in New York, in most capitals all over the world. People are just a bit busier there. But come to Devon, which is where I live, and people are so friendly.
Look how cool that is. Let's go back a little bit here. Look how neat that whole layout is. They have the Ferris wheel like over the water. And is that like a little boat? Like a kind of like a transit boat or something? Sorry, I don't know. My brain just wasn't working for what I was trying to say. That is so cool.
Come to Devon, which is where I live, and people are so friendly. People stop to have a chat. You know, people will go out of their way to ask how you're doing and everything. If you ask people for help, they're really helpful. And it's the same, like, out of any big city, really. People are a bit...
Wow, look at that. I guess that's ice, huh? I would think that's ice. It looks like ice. Damn, that's so cool.
Bit more laid back in the country, which is the same in loads of places, but we aren't all unfriendly, so yeah, please don't think that. So I hope you've enjoyed this video about all of the things to not do when you're visiting England. If there's any more that come to mind while you're watching it, please drop a comment below.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you, Claire, for that amazing England holiday survival guide. If you enjoyed the video, definitely leave a like if you haven't already. And a large portion of you guys aren't subscribed, so I would appreciate it if you could give me a subscribe. Lock that subscribe in, and be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know what your favorite part of the video was, and if Claire left anything out that you feel is a never to do in the UK or a never to do in London. Also drop that in the comments down below too. I'm interested to hear what other things you don't want to do when in the UK. Until the next video, guys, I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.